It's now being recorded. Just wanted to get your introductions on record, so I don't miss out on some awesome stuff that you're all working on. So let's see, before we officially start, intro, anybody, this is an open space, feel free, say whatever you do, where you do it, how you do it. And if you're looking for partners, feel free, this is your chance. Who wants to go first?
Hello, everybody. I'm Constance Awanaya, and I'm in Texas. So, Jesse, I just want to thank you and applaud you for this opportunity. It's always a great thing to see one of us trying to get to the top or trying to do something that's profitable for our community and for everybody. So I talking here, I'm a registered nurse by profession, and I'm a live licensed professional. I do help the community as well to have income protection, college fund for the children, and legacy transfer. So if you have any financial advice or any financial needs, I can be reached as well. So we have a chat board here. If you want to know what my number is or you want to get in touch, that would be great. And I'm so happy and to be part of this. And I will be like watching to see where this takes us. So I will be giving this out to other people who need the services, and I can use this concept to help everybody that's in need. Thank you so much for having me on your platform.
Thank you, Constance, but I'm not going to be doing this. So I will let Roland, you want to just jump in and coordinate an open networking session?
Okay.
Roland Chaps. Is he there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Roland. The two
Hi,
Rolands.
Jess. Hi, Jess. Thank you for calling all of us here today, and welcome everybody, and thank you for making the time to come and let's be able to support this vision, which I absolutely believe in. This vision that I absolutely believe in, not just because it's really fulfilling a need that we all, both as a community and just a general market, need now in order to be able to ensure that people live a better life and are able to plan better for their kids and their families and make their dreams and their aspirations come true. But because I know JC personally, and a vision is always vested in the person who drives that vision. And for me, this is something that JC is not only passionate about, but was trained for. And for the decades that I've known her, can you all hear me? Okay. So I'm happy to be here. And maybe probably, like Jesse said, this could be a platform where we could not only network, but see who's doing what, and how we can not only leverage off each other, but be able to help each other in accessing new markets. The world today is a digital one, and I'm in that space, by the way. And we usually would say that data is a new gold, and the jobs that your kids would probably, I'm a passionate parent, so you would hear me talk about that. The jobs that your kids would probably have tomorrow have not even been created yet. And hence really planning for your family, planning for the ones you love, planning for your community has become a little bit tricky because change is so fast and is driven by technology at a pace that we all cannot keep up. So as we are here today, it is a good thing that we start networking and start leveraging off each other, and not only allowing, supporting AZANI Capital to stand up, but also looking at ways of how we also can be able to introduce some of the things that we do, because sometimes it's amazing how we go out there and pay for services, whereas we have people amongst us, and I've experienced that a lot, especially locally in the US. We have people amongst us who are offering similar services. We don't know about them. There's this huge market, African market, if I could call it that, first primarily before the rest of the market. And I think what Jesse is trying to do is powerful. So let's please come on board. And if there is anything that you're involved in that you think we need to know, or something that we can all be able to participate in, while we're waiting to unveil AZANI Capital, let's take the advantage of this and begin to put all that out there, because AZANI Capital will only grow if it has clients. And I really think what Jesse is trying to do is to make sure that everybody is able to leverage from this in one way or the other. So that would be the bit that I would want to say quickly this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, or evening, depending on where you are. And probably just continue to open the floor for anybody who has anything that they're doing full-time or doing by the side, that they might want to throw in here, and let us know about it while we're waiting for the full package from AZANI Capital to come up. So
yes, my name is Fred Fonda. I'd like to say something.
All right, great, Fonda, you can go.
Yes, you are not giving the microphone. I was, so I know you are the CEO, so let me talk. Good evening, everyone, and I'm very proud. I'm happy to be here, and a big shout out to Jess for this wonderful initiative. I think I've always been in the shadows, and I've been monitoring and seeing everything she's doing. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and we are going to capitalize a lot on the financial advisory, because most of us have a very wonderful ideas, brilliant ideas, but the way we go about it is not the best. And so sometimes it does not get to its end destination. So we always need financial experts like you, Jess, to talk to us and orientate us on how to go about our daily life, our business ventures, and to make sure we get the most out of it. We understand that the government, society, economy, we always want to get the most out of our business, but we need consultants like you to help tell us how to do tax avoidance, not evasion, and to make the most of our investments. So I think it's an opportunity for us to take these and reach out to Jess, consult her when the need arises, because most often we have the capital requirement, we have human capital, we have everything, but how we position this is what makes the difference. And I think as a finance expert, I'm a chartered accountant, but I'm not at the level of Jesse yet. So I want to encourage each and every one of you. Please, let's allow those who are the professionals to do what they do best. And we should get their services. Sorry, I'm talking from a tennis court because I had to do sports. So please, I am wonderfully and 100% behind her. I support her ideas. I am a big fan of all what she's putting on table. And I think they say charity begins at home. If we do not encourage her and give her the boost and the push for her to get to where she inspired to, no one else will do it. So we have that sole responsibility. And I think, Jess, you equally have a responsibility to meet up with expectation and deliver what the audience requires from you. So thank you. I'll be a keen follower. I will monitor, I'll follow up everything that will be happening tonight. And you can count me as one of your potential clients, because I will be having a couple of businesses to do in the US and back home in Ketron. So I'll be hoping you will help fine-tune my businesses and make me attain my full potential. Thank you. Good evening to everyone.
Thank you so much, Fonda. That was really powerful. These days, it's always an important thing to have a side hustle, as we call it. And a lot of people have turned their side hustles into full-time hustles. And I'm sure if you're on this call today, it's either because you understand the importance of leveraging on financial knowledge or financial services. For one, you buy into the vision or you buy into the person. And as we proceed, please make sure that you're able to give your feedback immediately, because that's also, I always say that feedback is a gift, you know, immediately, so that AZANI Capital is able to kick off from the right footing, and is really focused on doing it for you, for the client, you know, because that's really what I think they want to do. I would now quickly want to hand over to Jesse to quickly do an introduction. Then I would continue from there. Jesse, over to you.
Thank you, Roland. Hi, everybody. I just had to jump in here, after which the coordinator of the day, Kayem Madeleine, is going to take over. But I wanted to introduce someone that has been great, someone that's been instrumental in taking me through this journey as one of the key advisors that I've been listening to. And this is none other than Derek Brown. I want him to, he has a short time to be here, and he's been a great advisor. He's been a great mentor in these new arenas that we're getting into. Most of you know me from my accounting and tax, but this AZANI Capital is way bigger than that. And Derek Brown has been instrumental in that training, in that mentorship, and I want to give him a chance before he goes to his next appointment. Derek?
Thank you, Jesse, and I hope you all can hear me. I want to say welcome. And first of all, it's just great to see all these beautiful people. And my grandmother once told me that the beauty of the African community is it comes in all different bouquet of colors like flowers. And that's everybody on the call today. And thank you, Jesse, for bringing me onto this group. I want to share with you all that what also has tied us together working with Jesse, she focuses on communication, collaboration, and community. Well, you guys are all the community as well as myself, but she collaborates with firms like mine, and I'm going to share a little bit of what we do and how we partner that with folks like Jesse. But the communication is what's going on today. If you don't know what's going on, you can't take it to the next level. So what is it that we do? Cut right to the chase on this, because as I move on to another appointment and you all continue, I want to make sure that when I leave this conversation from this communication, collaboration, and community, you have a good perspective of where Jesse's going. It's not just only that she's able to help minimize your tax liabilities, but now she brings a whole nother ball game to the table. And what is that? Well, it's finance and its finest. So we have capacity. So write that word down, or just keep that in on your top of mind. Capacity. Jesse, as well as myself, we have capacity to help small to medium and large businesses around the country. And I'm talking about United States of America, but we have the capacity to finance working capital. So there's three vehicles: working capital, commercial equipment, and also commercial real estate. So what does that mean for you all? Well, if you have a business and you're looking to expand, grow, or restructure some debt for better pricing, we can facilitate that. So for example, if you said, hey, I have commercial working capital, I have a need in that space. Well, Jesse can facilitate that from anywhere from really $75,000 to $1 million. And that's unsecured. And as you all know, the banks are starting to tighten in this country, where they're going to stop lending to a lot of the small businesses. Why is that? Well, we had the same problem that everyone in the world has had with the COVID-19. We had that big shutdown in 2020. So a lot of businesses have been struggling across the country, and the banks are tightening up their unsecured credit. You might have heard about a month ago, Wells Fargo Bank, one of the largest banks in the country, had announced they will no longer provide personal unsecured credit to their clients. So if you previously have or had a $3,000 line of credit up to $100,000, well, that's going to go away. And once Wells has started that, the other big box banks like maybe US Bank or PNC Bank, they're going to follow, or should I say already following pursuit. That also will have impact on the smaller banks and credit unions. So the good thing about you being on the call today, working with people like Jesse, we want to also keep that communication and collaboration going on for the community, you all. And that's where we tie together. So working in step with Jesse as one of our partners, our goal is to keep everybody on the cutting edge of what's changing in this economy. And you may have heard little hints from the Federal Reserve. They've been talking about raising the rates in 2022. That's coming down the pike. Well, what impact does that have for you and me? Well, if they're going to be raising the rates, it's going to continue to tighten the economy. The banks are going to stop lending to a steady clip. But the difference between now and our last economic crash is simply the banks are very well capitalized and they want to stay that way, but they're not going to make more loans. Why did Wells Fargo follow that pursuit? Well, back in 2020, when the country shut down, a lot of those folks were living on borrowed credit. And a lot of folks still aren't working today. Some businesses are still struggling today, and they want to stop that slow bleed, so they're not going to offer that unsecured credit any longer. So what we recommend is that we keep that communication going. If there's opportunities to grow or expand your business, you should be talking to Jessie, but she also has that secret ingredient, and that is helping you to minimize your tax liabilities. So she's bringing everything under one house, one-stop shop, and this is your source of getting information. So anytime she throws out some information on the internet or through her LinkedIn or through any other social media about what's going on and what you should consider, you should pay attention. But connect with her. Also tell your friends and your colleagues, and from a financing standpoint, lastly, she could facilitate a loan anywhere in the country. Now, we haven't gone international yet, but we are still focused on the US. And I take hats off to most of the participants on this call because you live in more than one culture. That's your added value that you bring to this country. You speak a different language. That is what brings added value to you all. So leverage that, stay together, build that community stronger, but be in the know. If you don't know what's going on, you're missing out on opportunities. But pay attention. We're living crazy times. And with crazy times, we got to stay ahead of the curve. So by participating in events like this and participating with folks like Jesse's firm, with AZANI Capital team and her colleagues, that is a good starting point. So with that, that's enough there. So Jesse, I'm going to turn that back over to you. And if there's a specific question I can answer, I am totally open.
Derek, thank you so much. Thanks so much for breaking that down. That's way better than I would have done. So I'm so glad you got to do that part of it. But I will let Kayem to carry on with the conversation from now and open it up in case anyone has any question for you. And then we just go with the flow. Kayem?
Sounds like a plan. And thank you, Jesse. And if we miss somebody's question, you can always put it in the chat and Jesse will get that question answered for me or over to us so we can both answer it.
Absolutely.
So I'm open. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm Madeleine Kayem. I've known Jesse for almost 20 years. Yeah, we go back a long way. Jesse and I went to the University of Buea together, read accounting together there. And then she left the country to come to South Africa, where I'm currently based, to read ACCA. So I'd just like to start by doing a little introduction to everybody about Jesse, her background, her profile, so that we know what we are dealing with and the reason for AZANI Capital to begin with. So Jesse finished in the University of Buea with a second-class upper degree in accounting. And then she moved to South Africa where she read ACCA and she graduated top 3 in South Africa in the ACCA. And then after that, she worked in NFC, which is a bank net financial
National Financial Credit.
National Financial Company here in South Africa, yeah, for about 2 years, and then went ahead to work in several accounting firms. And after that, she went to corporate and worked for a large engineering and construction company, where she rose to the position of Chief Financial Officer. And she's generally that kind of dynamic person who doesn't do just one job, one 8 to 5 job. She generally has one job, and then she has another on the side, and another and another. And that is the way she has been working. When she was working here in South Africa, for example, she was working in the engineering and construction company as CFO. And at the same time, she was giving lectures to the chartered accounting for the chartered accounting certification in South Africa to students to prepare them towards ACCA and the South African Chartered Accountancy. And then she also staffed trained teams of accounting professionals from several countries in the Southern African region: Angola, Mozambique, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Lesotho, and so on. And she has started, in her dynamism, she started several ventures. And even when she was a student, she co-owned an internet cafe. So that tells you how Jessie is just that person who has her fingers in many pies at the same time. And then in 2018, she moved to the US and started her own accounting practice with her own staff. And at this point, she's launching AZANI Capital. And a lot of you might be wondering, why would she choose a name like AZANI Capital? AZANI is an African word that means compassionate, driven. It expresses a pride for one's origin, for one's background, and a person who loves peace and justice. So that is why she chose the specific name AZANI Capital for her business, for this particular venture. And of course, there will be many, if you go onto azanicapital.com, their website, you would find that they offer different services. So there are financial services, there are tax services, but there's also the charities part of it. So AZANI Capital will also be launching an NGO under the same name, but it's all under the umbrella of AZANI Capital. So that's where we are with the introduction of Jessie and the whole AZANI Capital venture. Now, I want to ask Jessie if there's anything she would like to add before I open the floor to questions or we continue with the program. Over to you, Jess.
I am.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. And no, I will not. I'm not going to introduce myself. But many of you on here, I have known my entire lives. Hi, CY. I've known my entire lives, and I would rather let others. Let's give maybe another 5-10 minutes. I have known almost everyone here for a long time, so I would like them to say whatever you might have missed. Not me. So
okay, all right.
Professional wise.
Open the floor. Okay.
Professional wise. Yes.
All right, professionally. All right. So I'll open the floor to anybody who has a question. Let's give it 5 minutes before we continue with the program, just in case. I see Derek has written in the chat. He says, "Thank you, Jessie, for the opportunity to speak with your networking group. It is a pleasure and honor, and I am available to participate in the future. Best regards, Derek Brown." So anybody else who has a question or comment, kindly raise your hand or write in the chat, and we will address you in course of time.
Just a few minutes and we can carry on.
Okay.
Kayam, I can go right ahead and talk about the team. If I don't know, you're coordinating, you help.
I think that would be good if you can introduce us to your team and tell us exactly what each person's specialization is. We know you are an all-round person, so but we know that in this particular venture, you're probably going to be specializing in one thing in particular. So if you can give us that and give us each of your team, the names and introduce your team and what they'll be specializing in AZANI Capital. That way we are informed so that when we go on the website to read, we can understand better from your explanation. So go ahead, Jess.
Thanks, Kayem, but absolutely not right. See, the thing is, AZANI Capital is it's a realization today because of a great team. So we are still building this team, and we're going to continue to build it. But I'm just going to introduce some people that I have been working with closely. And let me just, in any order. So I'm gonna start, right? So guys and everybody, family, friends, the lady that's been speaking, let me start with her, Kayam herself, who is a fellow chartered accountant and has been for many decades. is the CFO of AZANI Capital, currently based in South Africa and working with one of the top international organizations in the world, the UN. She is the CFO of AZANI Capital. So that's who will be responsible to ensure that we are financially compliant, we are financially responsible, and we are doing all that we have to do to stay on the right track of our books. I do not know if Elma Akop is in, but before Elma comes in, there is someone I would love to introduce, and that is Roland Chebufo. I don't know if he's in. Roland, if you're in, please, you can just switch on your video so they can see you. Roland and myself have been friends, should I say decades too? I don't know. But, and we've worked closely together professionally for so many years, for more than 10 years. And he's currently the strategic executive support to AZANI Capital, providing us with that strategic oversight, strategic direction. So that is Roland. Roland, you want to say hi so that the people can see who you are?
Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Roland. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And then Elma Akop, who is currently, I think she is rushing to join us soon. But Elma is a young, dynamic lady coming up, and she's a great asset. And I'm sure that sooner or later, we will all come to know about her. She is currently in charge of media affairs at AZANI Capital. She's in charge of that public communications. And I think she is not in at the moment. And then we have Fanuel Mariti, who unfortunately is in flight right now and is in charge of the accounting division at AZANI Capital. And we have Dr. Akwi Tafa Ote, if she's in. Dr. Akwi Tafa is currently heading the business development department of AZANI Capital. And we have a few people that she works with. And we have other strategic support. We have our strategic IT support that's been supported by Roland Omene. We have strategic compliance support that's coming from Tabayang HU. And like Kayem said, we also have our charity arm. And this, oh, by the way, in case Roland Omene is in place, Can we see you as the IT support to AZANI? Rolando Mene? Yes. There you go.
Hi guys, you're welcome to this gathering.
He actually comes on as a gig, now you know.
Okay.
Our compliance and another strategic support, Tabayang, you wanna, if you're here? All right. If not, is Mr. Didian Tongwine here? If you could, please. I know he's somewhere, but in case he can't come on video right now, he is also very, one of our strong support structure that we have strategically. Yes, there is Mr. Didian Tongwine. Now, regarding the AZANI charity, we have a formidable lady that's leading it. Sylvia Shambo, are you here? Sylvia, I know you are. So if by any chance your video is on.
Everyone, unfortunately, I can't come on video, but I'm.
All right, that's fine. That's Sylvia Shambo. She's worked with NGOs for so many years, and there is no other person that would do a better job at AZANI charities than her. And as I'm one of the advisors to AZANI Capital, Mr. Fonda Fred, he did say he's been monitoring and guiding, so now you know, and he spoke earlier. So Fonda Fred is right there, and so many others of you that have been part of the support structure. So that's the team, Kayem. So we do have mentors who I would, and we are currently putting a board together right now. So we would want to conclude that before we make the board public. So once that's concluded, and then we'll make the board public, because the board is going to include some of our current mentors that we have. So that's it for the team.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Jess. That was a very important introduction, because at least now we have an idea of who the key members are, and I'm sure the team is wider, but at least we know who the key members of the team are. And therefore, when we go to the website, we will understand better better about AZANI Capital. So I just took a look at the chat now, and I see that we have one question. We have a comment from Manenze. He doesn't have a question, but well wishes to Jesse and team to go all the way for this great initiative. This is indeed a dream come true. I know how much you always wanted to pull something of this magnitude. So that is from Manenze. And then there is a question from Ernest. I heard someone talk about unsecured loans. Isn't that risky? Can you shed more light on that, please? So I'll let Jesse answer that before we proceed. Jess? Jess?
Yes, Kayem, thank you for that.
Yes.
Let's hear it. I don't want to be talking alone. So what do we think? Do we think that unsecured loans are extremely risky? What I want us to engage in this question so that we can learn from them. What does the house think? What do you guys think? Anyone with, I know that a lot of you here have worked in banks before and you have issued a whole lot of loans. So let's hear it.
Well, I'll start by saying that unsecured loans, I think that's risky, but it depends on what your strategy will be. Now, I've never been in the banking sector, so I'll let the bankers answer. But I think that Ernest has a good point. They are risky. The challenge is therefore, the thing is therefore, can we meet up to the challenge? How do we dare to approach that? From what angle? So I'll let the crowd have it.
I have a very different view of it. This is Roland, a very different view of it. Maybe it's because I'm purely not the finance person, But I believe that when you go for a loan, especially within the context of what we're saying, it's because you're pursuing an opportunity. So the risk aspect should be with regards to the rewards. You know, if you're going for a loan because it's an opportunity to explore, and that opportunity will definitely bring returns, well, that's a risk you're willing to take, right? Whether it's secured or unsecured loans, it really doesn't matter. But that's my layman's take. So it's really not about the loan sometimes, although yes, it is good to go for secured loans, but then it's really about the reason why you're taking that loans, and that's why working with AZANI Capital for me is key. So that if people do get into unsecured loans, they should be getting into them because they are going to leverage those loans for opportunities that would bring returns.
Absolutely. I think you spot on. Yes.
Can I hey Jess, what's up?
Hi, Ernest.
It's Ernest. Yeah, I am not a banker, you know that. But I know what an unsecured loan is. Roland just answered to the direction that I think it's more concerned about the person who's borrowing. It's not risky to you.
Exactly.
It's risky to the bank.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you get it back? So if I want to get it into a business, it's a venture. It might work, it might not work. And the bank just goes out and say, this is $100,000 and start your venture. And I can't pay back. What do you get? You're gonna die the next day, right? That's what I was looking at, not to the person who's borrowing. To the person who's borrowing, it's a good thing, right? But to the bank, which is supposed to be you right now, Jess, that's what I wanted you guys to shed more light on.
No, absolutely. You are spot on, Ernest, from the point of the lender. It is a very risky venture, but again, there are parameters in place. So it's not like you just come and want a loan and you give in. There needs to be some, it depends on the business you're doing, a track record of who you are, the industry you're in. So there are a lot of things that are considered. And of course, there are usually a cap on these things, right? So to minimize the risk of losing too much. So while there is a huge possibility out there to get unsecured loans, there are still terms and conditions that need to be met. It simply means that we do not need to tie these loans to any particular asset that you have, but we then definitely need to know that you are a financially responsible individual or that your business is financially viable, if that makes sense.
Just if I may add something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, most of this depends on your risk appetite. And whether it's a secured loan or a non-secured loan, it depends on your character. Each time a bank wants to issue you a facility, the number one factor which is being considered is character. You know, you need to be somebody who is being seen as being trustworthy, and you can be able to meet up with your financial obligations when they get due. So let's not look at what we own as assets that you can put them as a collateral. Each time a bank wants to lend you a facility, don't look at what you own. The first thing they look at is the source of repayment, and that is what is capital. So we should try and build a strong credit history. That is why we encourage people, when you take a loan, make sure you pay. When you get into a credit card business, make sure you honor your credit obligations. That is what matters in the financial sector. You need to see that you are credible. That is all what counts. You need to be credible. So I'm just adding to what Jesse said. So most often we can get facilities without any mortgage behind it. It is just based on our credibility and our character that the bank capitalizes on. And also you should look at your risk appetite each time you want to go in for a facility. It is also a factor that we should be considered. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Ernest. So
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just so novice that I don't really understand. So I agree with my brother Fred about the character, right? But I don't run a business based on my character. I might start a business. I have the appetite for money. I have a good character, but for some reason down the road the business doesn't work out, right? Yes. You should, as the lender, have something to fall back to, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why unsecured loans are given at a very high interest rate.
of course.
Okay, so if you want to tell us that, okay, let's hear that, because I think that's a crux
No,
of the matter.
absolutely. And as you are spot on. So yes, while character is great, but without a character, you're not going to get the facility, right? So character enables you to get that. Now, the route to the lender is also huge. So what's going to happen is that Sarah will come with you soon, is that we will have an open conversation. I think we should go through the services of AZANI, have all of this embedded into our conversation so that we can then align them. Or what do you guys think? I think that would be the best way. So let's quickly, Kayem, if you're in, let's quickly look at what AZANI does, and then we can have these pertinent conversations as to the do's and don'ts for us to get to where we need to get to.
Okay, yes, Jess, I'm back. The next item of our agenda is to talk about the aims and goals, or that is a strategic vision of AZANI Capital. That's the next thing on our agenda, Jess.
All right, thank you, Kayem. Let's see. What we are going to do now is kind of just go through our services, give a presentation of what AZANI Capital is on. But before we do that, I have a question. Is there any young business person in the house? Anyone younger than 25 that's looking to become a business person? Just random question, anyone? No? Oh, okay, so you're all too old. All right.
Yeah, we were born many years ago.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is I would try to share my screen. I would actually love to do this on a bigger screen. So Kayem, if you do not mind, you can continue engaging Ernest and Cyril on that conversation while I transfer my laptop to a bigger screen. Okay. All right. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, Sarah, did you have a contribution to make? I think Ernest is the one who asked the question.
Yes.
So
thanks,
yes.
Jesse, and thanks everyone for this great initiative. It's a really a great business, and I'm delighted to be part of this great launch. I just wanted to add regarding the unsecured loan. So unsecured loan, part of it is credit cards. They are unsecured because they have no collateral attached to it, and also because they are unsecured, they tend to have a higher than normal interest rate. And the reason why they do have this high interest rate is because if you were to liquidate or file for a bankruptcy, be it Chapter 13, if you are a sole proprietorship, or Chapter 11, if you are a business doing a restructuring, those loans are easily forgiven because they are not secured. And depending on the plan in terms of the bankruptcy, you can get away without paying those loans. So that is one of the reasons why sometimes the banks are very careful when issuing out these loans, and also one of the reasons why the interest rates are very high, because the bank's goal is to try to recoup at least the principal before you get into default. So I just wanted to throw it out. But however, for people who are really business oriented and who are smart, they always go after those loans. And that's why a lot of people file for bankruptcy, so they could let go of some of these debts when the shoulder is a bit heavy and start over again. So I just wanted to add that to see if I could answer the question. Thank you.
That makes sense, my brother.
Thank you, Cyril. Is there anybody who wants to give a contribution towards answering that question while Jessie is still preparing her screen to share with us? Any business people or banking people in the house?